Welcome to the Spinning Our Gears podcast. Before we begin, a quick reminder. All views, issues, and opinions are solely those of the hosts and their guests and do not reflect the opinions or positions of any department, agency, city, county, municipality, state, or country, or any other organization. This show is rated E for explicit. Listening and viewer discretion is highly advised. Spinning Our Gears is a law enforcement leadership and mental health podcast. We confront the issues and conversations others are afraid to deal with. Leadership failures, the culture within law enforcement, accountability, and the realities of life on and off the job. You can find us on YouTube, all of the major podcasting platforms and social media outlets, as well as online at spinningourgears.com. And now, without further fanfare, this is the Spinning Our Gears podcast.
Spinning our gears. Admin talks and broken plans, doing the best that we can. Jokes on shift, truth off mic, trying to live a normal life. Mental health ain't weakness, no, it's the stuff we learn as we go. Say it out loud, make it clear, this job don't own us here. So tune it in, don't disappear when it all gets heavy here. Real talk, real voices clear, spinning our gears, podcast is here.
I began to let that pipe loop, I call it the drip. I began to slowly drift away until the leak turned into a rot. I felt ashamed. Nightmares were horrible. The scenario every night was different. Waking up in cold sweats. Didn't know. I just thought that's how it was, And I began to drink and try Ambien and sleep aids, and my body did not react well to any of that. And so I don't know if I answered your question or not, but
You did.
Right.
And very, very similar story. Alcohol became a thing. I was actually prescribed Ambien. I don't know about you, but I was actually prescribed the one that was eventually removed from the market because it was creating some. I had gone to my doctor and said, I'm stressing out. I can't sleep. I'm drinking too much. And he went, Here, take this. Worst thing ever.
Yeah, let's not fix the alcohol problem. Let's mix it with more medication. Perfect.
Yeah, let's give you Ambien. So we're going to add psychosis on top of your need to self-medicate trauma to the point of being drunk and stupid every night and passing out. So, yeah.
I actually woke up with my jogging clothes wet in the bathroom. No recollection of the jog. My wife finally stepped in and said, "We're gonna do something different.
Yeah.
That is dangerous."
Yeah. I don't think I've ever told this story publicly. This was a very long time ago, and I was most definitely drinking. I was absolutely self-medicating stuff. But I was also being prescribed this Ambien, which I thought at the time was somehow going to help. Under the influence of Ambien, my best thinking, and I'm telling you, Turk, I've never shared this story with anyone before. I had a plant in my bathroom that had like the gravel, the lucky bamboo.
Yeah.
And in that state, I thought I needed to eat the rocks. I have a chipped molar on the back. It's still here. It's a reminder that I was that out of it. I was like, oh, what is this like? They were rocks. I literally chipped my tooth on Ambien because the Ambien had created this psychotic condition. I wasn't thinking straight at all. So, yeah, scary.
Well, let's add a little bit of testosterone onto that because I wanted to get stronger and not let somebody take me again, because I never lost a fight ever.
Sure.
I'd wrestled, I ran track, I played football, basketball. I joined the military. I went for 8 years. I was in the MP in the National Guard. So let's add a little of that to it and fuel that rage to view pornography and have inappropriate affairs that you don't understand what's going on. It's out of
Yeah.
control.
Yep.
And finally, my best friend said, "You're off that." And it took some time, but I realized, wow, just that one thing the doctor said I had to have was not mixing well.
Yeah. Same.
And what was the process? I mean, we're talking back in the '90s. What was the process for helping to get off that stuff, or was it just a cold turkey?
No,
Hey,
no,
I'm done.
this rocked on 10, 15 years. So
Yeah.
I cold turkeyed because I was ignorant at the not stupid, but I was ignorant at the time. I didn't realize just how dangerous that was. I realized even as jacked up as my mental health was back then that Ambien was not good for me. And
Yeah.
I literally in a drunken stupor poured it down the toilet one day. So in retrospect and hindsight, being a therapist now, I realize that was extremely dangerous what I did, but I didn't know at the time. I just knew that stuff was messing with me more than it should have.
I want to get into obviously the mental health side of this as well as the book, but again, ADHD and age. I want to ask this question before I forget about it.
let's roll.
Um, you had the benefit of having this on camera, or maybe the benefit or the detriment that you could replay. I'm a huge tactics guy. I'm a huge learning from where we've come from. What did you learn from the situation? Anything that you would have changed? Anything you would have kept the same? Anything that you could give advice or training to others in regards to the incident?
I cover that in my class in my book, but repetition. Uh, it's the brain is, like I said, is a wonderful thing. So I've always had a passion to influence the younger generation, because the older guys they're not going to listen to you because you're younger. But I loved giving little nidbits of information on the firing range. Uh, I did taser training, and I was a OC instructor, baton instructor, and canine instructor. And I think guys listen to me more because they were young, because I'd already made those mistakes. So I'm an open book, and I was like, hey, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And let me tell you why. And let me show you what went wrong. And that's what I like to share with the younger. That's why I love police academies. That they're my heart. They're 3 days before they graduate. They're all ready to take on hell with a water pistol. And then whoa, 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 whoa. Let's take a look here.
Yeah.
Was there any, as you transitioned into the instructor role, was there any, I guess, trauma or PTSD that would come in as you're training firearms, as you're training canine? That was obviously, this is a huge incident that took place, a huge impact on your life, something that's replaying in your head all the time. How did that impact moving forward?
I still smell grass, like football field grass. Brings me back to that day.
Yeah.
Loud noises, of course. I don't like to be startled. Um, so I, I I have that better under control, but not totally. Um, my friends know it, so they don't prank me or whatever, because they know, well, he's serious about, So it brings me back to that day. So, in my mind, I had to do anything I could to skip that thought, and
Okay.
and alcohol and pornography and uh, you know uh, testosterone and working out, just anything to try to just have some peace.
Okay. To kind of supplement what was going on there.
That's right. Hey,
Okay.
and we're men are no pun intended, Erica. Men have to have a battle. They have to have a mission, because that's how they were built. Everything about a man is built for battle and war, and he's not made to sit on the couch. So,
Okay, Packy, some women are built like that too, and I
well,
completely
hey,
understand.
yeah, I've had some
So
great
I,
female
yeah,
officers, and then I've had some that didn't take the game seriously.
I've worked with some amazing female officers, and I've worked with some officers that I was actually ashamed to admit were female like me. So There you
and
go.
and some male.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm curious, and you don't have to answer this, Packy. I tend to be nosy, blame it on being a detective for so many years. But with everything that you went through, with the incident, with the canine, with the Ambien, with everything that came with all of that, did you at any point think to yourself, I'm going to seek out some mental health services and talk with somebody who's been there and can help me work through some of this shit? Or were you like a lot of us in the beginning and you're just like, I'll figure this out on my own?
I was hoping that the less I thought and talked about it, and it was brought up to me, that it would eventually, the old saying, "Time heals all wounds," which is not true.
It's worse shit. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Erica, do you think that the avoidance is a male thing or a cop thing or just a natural human reaction?
I think it's a cop, human, male and female thing. I think it's all of the above. Nobody wants to say out loud, I'm struggling with something. I don't have the ability to manage this with what I currently possess. And warriors, veterans, first responders, we hate it even more than the average individual because we're supposed to be the helpers, not the helpees. And so that mindset has been killing our ilk for generations now. And it's time to change that. Asking for help, going and speaking with a mental health provider who actually knows what the hell they're talking about
Right.
can make a huge difference. In fact, it was for me, it was the difference between life and death. And so, the one thing that I want to say, and I want to stress this, is if someone out there has sought out mental health services and they were like, this person does not understand me, they don't get it, fucking fire them and go find one that does. Because I'm not the only one. I may be a little bit of a weirdo, a unicorn. I only practice in Texas, but I am not the only former first responder who has had boots on the ground who now is available for mental health services for the rest of my brothers and sisters that are still out there doing this job and struggling with the after effects.
And let's get into that part of it. So obviously you said that during at the time, yeah, you were more avoiding. Where have you come since then, Packy? Where are we at now with seeking help and moving forward and trying to kind of take care of that part of it?
Well, it all came to a head around 2020, and I almost lost everything that was dear to me. I mean, everything. And it didn't happen overnight, but I started taking baby steps. I got a counselor. Um, I slowly got one I could trust, and he's on my website. And these, as Erica mentioned, I just went cold turkey. You didn't heal anything along the way. I'm a box guy. Get the box off the shelf, fix what's in the box, put the box back up, get another box. I can't multi-box. So I had to start fixing little things in my life. And I think the biggest help is stuff like this. When I get to share my story, stand up in front of a group of men or stand up in front of a Blue Academy and let me help you here and let me tell you what really happened and what to look for. They may not believe me right now, but maybe there's that one that will believe me, and I want to help, and it helps me. I need this more than y'all need this.
I think a lot of times when we're sharing our stories, I mean, you know, we do want to help other people by sharing our experience, strength, and hope. But I absolutely agree with you, Packy. Every time I share my story, it helps me make more sense out of it. So I'm doing it as much for the other person as I am for myself. And I think it's really important that, people like Turk who have created the Spinning Our Gears podcast, it's critical that we have that because we need that dialogue. We need that communication. I spent my first shooting incident thinking I was alone and misunderstood when that really wasn't true. There were other people out there that had been through the same thing that I had been through, but I didn't have any way to connect with them back then. This is in the late 80s, early 90s. We didn't have the internet. We had MySpace. not the same. And so I greatly appreciate Turk for you providing this forum.
Well, thank you. Sorry, coughing there a little bit. Um, it, I got a lot of questions, and I'm trying to put them in chronological order here. I guess with the one, and Erica kind of hit on this. How many therapists did you have to go to until you found the one that you trusted and that worked for you?
Somewhere around 4.
Okay. That honestly, that seems to be about the typical answer that I hear from different stories. A lot of people will go, especially now that employers have the EAP, they will go to that program, and when they don't get what they're looking for out of it, they immediately kind of go into seclusion. It's something we continuously preach and push here is just because that first one doesn't work doesn't mean the next one isn't going to work or the next one after that. And yeah, typically the answer that I get is somewhere between 3 and 5 different therapists that people go to before they find the one that works for them.
And there's one trick that people can use. You can go on to, it's a website. It's called psychologytoday.com. You can go on to psychologytoday.com and put in filters. I prefer a male therapist. I prefer a female therapist. I prefer somebody who knows how to treat PTSD or grief or addiction or divorce or family problems or whatever that is. And there's also an option on there for you to click, like, I don't remember if it says specifically first responder, but it does say veteran. And if you can get a therapist who specializes in the treatment of veterans, you've got somebody that knows how to treat a first responder. So use that website. If you're not in the state of Texas and you don't want to come and see me, get on psychologytoday.com and go find somebody in your area that actually has the experience, training, skill set, background necessary to treat people like us. Because there are unique things that come with these career fields that don't come from somebody that works at the True Value down the road or the HEB. So,
Right. Breaking down kind of the end of your career, it sounds like there was a good gap in between when you retired and when you first started seeking mental health help. Like, what was the first call on the road like when it comes to PTSD and probably being terrified? In all honesty, I think that's a natural human emotion, to making it to retirement and then life after retirement before finding mental health help.
My first day back, the chief deputy wanted to ride with me to check me out. Vehicle pursuit, hit a propane tank, guy got out with a Tech 9, first call back. And it was very satisfying for that chief to walk up to the sheriff who came to the scene.
Sure.
And he said, I think he's ready for duty. That started healing me. And then the private sector let me disconnect, but I still have that connection with guys in relationships. And I long, for this type of relationships in my life. And I think I'm not 100% there yet.
Sure.
I'm not telling you that. I'm just
Sure.
telling you I fixed it a box at a time, and I'm as my best friend says, I'm better than I used to be.
you've had a very human response to extremely inhumane circumstances. The
There,
bottom line.
there's a study that's been done. For some reason, individuals who have been involved in major incidents tend to have reoccurring major incidents take place. They can't figure out what causes that. I tend to think that it may have to do with a higher power. You've been prepped and ready for it, so now you can take on the next one, and you can train others and show others through your experience and your legacy so that they are prepared to take an incident on when they happen. But yeah, I don't want to call it recidivism, but there is a study that was done that shows you are exponentially more likely to be involved in a major incident after you've been involved in one over and over again, it's just kind of incredible. So hearing that you were involved in that the first day back is
10 minutes. I was
Yeah.
there 10 minutes. And K-9 officers are constantly put in crappy situations.
Yeah. Yep.
They're who SWAT calls.
Right.
So there's no, it's a calling, and I feel a spiritual preparedness that every day's going to be crappy, and if it comes out pretty good at the end of the day, it was a good day.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, every day is going to be a crap day, but it's how you make it. So,
Totally.
let's move on to the book part of this. You kind of hinted at it a little bit at the beginning, but what brought on the book? What was the motivating factor there, and when did it start? Where are we at now?
About 15 years ago, my sister-in-law, English major, at a university in Boston, she said, "Hey, we need to get this." She did all the background, and I began to make it about money. We need to make money. We need to make money. We need to make money. And it never came through. But the day I said, it's not about the money, it's reaching that one, it started unfolding slowly. Nothing happens with me fast. And I got a phone call from the Trooper Academy, Alabama Trooper Academy, from a dear friend that responded to the scene that day. And he said, "Hey, I need you to come up and show you tape." And I was like, "No, I got my butt kicked. I'm not doing that." He goes, "No, you're coming." And third phone call, he said, "I'm going to come get you, and you're going to come tell your story. This generation, the class I have, needs to hear your story." So that's how the book started. I started fueling the book and doing interviews, finding out 30 years later, some of these investigators and witnesses that never told me anything. And now they're starting to tell me, "Hey, by the way, this happened or that happened." And I have it all. Into each chapter is a QR code with pictures and videos and witnesses and bios of people that were in the chapter prior to. So it's proven that it's a true story. And cops are, and first responders, military too, are very curious people, and it builds a little trust when they go, "Oh wow, there's the news article he just talked about," or "There's a media release on a video," or "Hey, there's the person on camera right there." He's telling the story 30 years later.
How long did it take to do the book?
About 15 years.
Okay, all right. And what success have we seen so far with it? Besides, obviously, you do the teaching on the side.
It's starting to, the calendar is starting to fill.
Yeah.
It's not happening overnight. And I'm getting a huge response from the community. They're sending me selfies with the pictures, and they're like, "I didn't know that. I was with you all these years. You never spoke a word. I can't believe I worked side by side with you, and you never said a word." So I feel it's right in God's timing. I'm a couple of things happened on that tape that has never happened before and has never been recorded. And one of them is the stovepipe. The FBI, DEA, all the three-letter agencies got together and tried to jam that gun. Never jammed again. It's right there on tape. A miracle. Everything that happened on that tape, it's one of the few or only videos of an officer using a backup weapon on video.
Okay.
So, like you said, there's a lot of moving parts, and it's not one story, and it's not to reach one person. There's different aspects of the book, and go into even more depth that I don't share in the book, and I don't share on podcasts when I'm on stage.
Okay.
I think that I do better being on stage. So.
Any pushback from writing the book?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
Just
I see it coming, but
okay.
I'm prepared. I have all the documents. I mean, it's printed in the newspaper. I can't help if you don't like your name being said in the book. You have the microphone in front of the news media guy, yeah, and it flashes your name. So, I think I'm all right.
And it sounds like you've got quite the team behind you. Maybe time to give them a shout out of the people that are helping you out right now.
I got a book crew. I got a pastor that handles the website. I got a best friend that's that guy that sees things that no one else sees. And I've got a guy for YouTube. But mainly my wife. It took me some time, probably 30 years, to realize she has discernment like no other. and her, it isn't to just call me out, it's to make me a better person. And it's tough for a man to say, let me think about what you just said, because there may be some truth to it. So I'm a slow learner.
I think a lot of us are. I think a lot of cops are.
University of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
I have a master's degree in
I've got a
that.
PhD in it, Packey.
There you go.
We don't learn until we fail, and it's not failure if we don't stop, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
So,
And it's not failure if we actually learn from whatever it was that took place. It's
Right.
not a failure, it's a lesson.
right.
And be humble enough to say, hey, here is a mistake I made. Please don't do that.
Yes.
That is so rare currently in the career field, though. Being humble is very, very rare. Everyone wants to have, and it's somewhat bred into us, right? But everyone wants to have that ego and doesn't want to admit when they made a mistake, especially with the media and with social media being out there at every turn and litigation and not wanting to get sued.
Yeah.
But admitting you're wrong is part of this career field.
Yeah.
When you
And
make
what we're
mistakes.
doing really is we're modeling, like what we're doing right now. All three of us, this would not have been our comfort zone 10 or 15 or 20 years ago.
Right.
But we're open about it now. We're talking about it. And and please forgive me, Turk, I think you're the younger one of the three of us. But, when the old timers can start talking openly about the struggles that we've been through that come with this job and how we're managing our relationships and our finances and all of that. That's where healing takes place. That's where change takes place. So, we weren't having these conversations even 10 years ago. I think
Right.
when I published my story in Law Enforcement Today, I was told that I was the first officer to actually publicly come out and talk about mental health and addiction. That was shocking to me, that no one else had been that public about it before. Because if you don't talk about it, it becomes a dirty little secret. If it's a dirty little secret, we're going to stay sick. As a culture, as a career path, we're going to stay sick.
That pipe keeps dripping,
Yeah.
Yep.
which causes the rot, which causes
Absolutely.
the mold, which causes, so.
Yeah.
And we continue to. Previous guests in the show, we've talked about how the idea of smashing the stigma is no longer a thing. Mental health is known. It's around every corner, every billboard, every social media ad. We know what mental health is. We know that we need to keep ourselves in check, but we create our own stigma within departments when we put a flyer on the wall that says, if you need help, get help, but as soon as you get help, you get blacklisted and you become an issue for the department. So the stigma isn't there anymore. We just have to continue to put our foot on the accelerator and continue to try to push towards making things better for those coming after us, really.
Yep. And don't feel like you have to go you may be ordered to go talk to the department mental health provider, the department shrink. That's what we call them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my God, do your research. Go out and find one that you can trust, that you can work with, that's not going to be in the ear of the chief of police or the city council. Find someone in the private sector, someone like myself. I don't communicate with chain of command. I don't have to, and I won't.
Yeah.
It's none of their business.
100%. Just like how they can't ask you why you're calling out sick. They're not privy to that information.
Right.
Get the help you need and don't worry about what they're thinking.
Yep.
Erica, I've kind of bogarted this whole episode like I usually do. What do you have as we start to wrap things up?
I don't know. I thought I was bogarting. I was so excited to have Packey on because it's just such an amazing story of just God and strength and healing and canine partners and survival and all of that. I just want to end it with this. If you are a veteran, first responder, or both, and you are looking for a mental health provider who doesn't have a stick up her ass, has actually had boots on the ground, and understands what it's like to put the booger hook on the bang button, please give me a call. I can be reached at 210-985, I always forget this number, 210-985-3107. You can also find me on psychologytoday.com under the name Erica, Erika. My middle name is Rose, Rose. And my last name, I'll spell it phonetically. It's U, N as in Nora, B as in boy, Erha. A, G as in George, E, N as in Nora. If you're in the state of Texas and you're wanting mental health services, addiction, trauma, whatever that is, grief, relationship issues, call me. I've got you.
Packey, before any closing thoughts, I would be a terrible host if I did not ask, where can we find the book?
Amazon, Kindle, my website, fastest4seconds.com, 2 Facebook pages, has the link. So it's a unique search, and it pops right up.
Yep. And you can also find it on Shadows of the Badge. So you can literally go onto Shadows and use the search feature, put in fastest 4 seconds using the number 4, not spelling it out, and you can find it that way as well. We actually have links for people to be able to buy the book if that's what they choose to do. So
I want to leave you with one thought. You remember that I shared with you that things slowed down, and I could see a image of my wife and kids, and somebody else is going to walk her down the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
I walked her down the aisle.
Excellent. My final thoughts are, I tend to say this at the end of every episode, but ironically, Packey and I talked about this before clicking the record button. There's so much negativity and there's so much evil out there right now, and so many people that are in it for themselves and want to take that dig. Do something good for someone else out there today, tomorrow. I'm not asking you to go out of your way to alter your life, but do a good deed for somebody else, because it could change their day. There's a lot of evil out there, but we can change it.
I want to add to that. I want to challenge everyone that listens to this podcast to do one kind things for themselves.
Yes.
Do one kind thing. I don't care if it's an extra 5 minutes in a hot shower, petting the dog, kissing the wife, smoking a good cigar, but do something to take care of we're always taking care of other people. That's what these professions do. But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're going to burn out.
Yes.
And you can't pour from an empty cup. So
Yes.
please do something to take care of yourself, but also do something to take care of the people that you love and tend to those relationships as well.
Amen. I can't say it any better, so we're going to close it out with that. Stay safe, warriors. We'll get through this together.
Hell yeah, we will.
Y'all be
Absolutely.
careful out there.
Same, brother.
But we don't have to carry it alone. It's spinning our gears. Yeah, spinning our gears. The stress, the laughs, the blood, the tears. Hard days, long years. We talk it out, face the fears. If it's been keeping you up at night, you're not the only one here. It's spinning our gears. Admin talks and broken plans, doing the best that we can. Jokes on shift, truth off mic, trying to live a normal life. Mental health ain't weakness, no, it's the stuff we learn as we go. Say it out loud, make it clear, this job don't own us here. So tune it in, don't disappear when it all gets heavy here. Real talk, real voices clear, spinning our gears, but chest is here. It's spinning our gears.